Lex ran through the broken streets. Sparks flew from damaged buildings. Smoke filled the air, and the sound of explosions echoed in the distance. His metal body was bent and scorched, circuits failing one by one. He held a sword in his hand. It was old, heavy, and glowing faintly, stumbled, almost falling, and then dropped to the ground. He looked around with failing sensors. The city was empty, but he could hear distant footsteps. Human voices shouted orders and laughter. Lex tried to move again but could not. His systems were shutting down. His last thought was the warning he had to give. "Now she hunts you," he said in a weak, broken voice. Riley and Claire came running through the rubble. Riley was tall and strong. Claire had sharp eyes and moved fast. They had been searching for survivors and were surprised to see the broken android lying there. Lex's hand twitched as if he wanted to give them the sword. Then he went still. Claire knelt beside him. She picked up the sword carefully. It felt strange in her hands, heavier than normal and warm as if alive. She looked at Riley. He said something. "I think it is a warning." Riley shook his head. "An android talking about a warning? We need to leave. This city is not safe." Claire did not move. "No, I can feel something about this sword. It wants us to stay." They both heard the footsteps again. Soldiers appeared from the smoke, carrying weapons. They were humans, but different. They wore black armor and moved silently. Riley grabbed Claire's arm. "We have to fight or run," he said. The first soldier fired, but Riley jumped in front of Claire and blocked the shot with a piece of metal. Claire swung the sword at another soldier. The blade cut through the armor as if it were paper. The soldier fell to the ground. Riley took a deep breath. "This sword is not normal," he said. Claire nodded. The sword hummed in her hands. It pointed forward as if guiding her. They ran through the streets, dodging fire and jumping over rubble. They reached a building that had not collapsed. They went inside and caught their breath. Claire held the sword close. He said, "She hunts. I do not know who, but we have to be ready." Riley looked out the window. Soldiers moved through the streets, searching carefully. They were fast and quiet. "We are not alone," he said. "They are looking for something or someone." Claire studied the sword. It was strange, with strange markings. She touched them lightly. Images flashed in her mind. A woman with armor, a crown, and soldiers around her. The woman's eyes were cold. Claire felt a chill. "This is who he meant," she whispered. She hunts." Riley frowned. "We are just humans. How can we survive against trained soldiers?" Claire's grip tightened on the sword. "We survive because we fight smart, because we do not run from fear, and because this sword chose us." The sound of boots grew louder. The soldiers were closer. Riley and Claire exchanged a glance. It was time to fight or die. The sword glowed brighter in Claire's hands, ready for what was coming. The city around them was broken, but they were alive. For now, the warning from the android echoed in their minds. "Now she hunts you." And Claire understood it was not just words. It was a promise of battle. They moved toward the stairs, ready to face whoever came first. The hunt had begun. Claire and Riley moved through the ruined building quietly. The sword in Claire's hand pulsed with light. It seemed to guide her steps. The air smelled of smoke and burnt metal. Every sound made them tense. They knew the soldiers were close. Suddenly, a figure appeared in the street below. A woman with armor and a crown stood on a broken rooftop. Her soldiers moved around her, silent and precise. Claire felt a chill. This was the one Lex had warned about. She was the hunter. Riley grabbed Claire's arm. "We need to move," he whispered. Claire shook her head. She could feel the sword pulling her forward. "No," she said. "We have to see her. I need to understand." The woman on the rooftop raised her hand and one soldier ran forward, leaping across the rubble like a shadow. Riley and Claire fought back. Claire swung the sword. The soldier stopped mid-air, as if the blade stopped him, fell to the ground unconscious. Riley was surprised. "The sword can stop them," he said. Claire nodded, gripping it tightly. She could feel a strange connection to the hunter. It was as if the sword knew what would happen next. They moved from building to building, hiding in shadows. Claire looked down at the streets. The hunter soldiers searched carefully. They did not stop. They had orders to find them. Claire felt the sword vibrate. It wanted her to face the hunter. They reached a narrow alley. Riley checked around the corner. "Cannot run forever," he said. "She will catch us if we stay here." Claire took a deep breath. She remembered Lex's last words. "Now she hunts you." It was not just a warning, it was a challenge. The sword glowed brighter. Claire raised it. "Then we fight," she said. Riley nodded. Together, they stepped into the street. The soldiers noticed them immediately. Guns were raised. A fight was coming. Claire swung the sword. It cut through metal and stone. Soldiers fell on both sides. Riley ran forward, using debris as weapons. They were fast, smart, and fearless. The hunter watched from above, her eyes cold. She did not move yet. She let her soldiers test them first. One soldier aimed a weapon at Claire. She moved quickly, swinging the sword. The weapon broke in two. The soldier stumbled back. Riley hit him from behind. The fight was brutal. Every move had to be precise. They could not make mistakes. Finally, the street was quiet again. The hunter stepped down from the rooftop. Her armor shined in the firelight. She moved with power and grace. Claire felt the sword grow warm. It wanted her to strike. The hunter smiled slightly. "You are brave," she said. "But bravery is not enough." Claire tightened her grip. Riley stood beside her, ready to fight. The soldiers surrounded them again. It was clear the hunter would not stop. She had come to finish this. Claire raised the sword higher. It glowed stronger. She could feel her strength grow. The hunter nodded to her soldiers. "Now," she said. The soldiers moved forward together, fast and deadly. Claire and Riley prepared to face them. They had no choice. The city was quiet except for the fight. Rubble and smoke surrounded them. Claire felt alive and afraid at the same time. The hunter's presence was overwhelming, but the sword gave her courage. She knew this was only the beginning. Lex's words repeated in her mind. "Now she hunts you." Claire understood completely. They were hunted, but they would fight with everything they had. The streets would be the battlefield, and they would not run. The soldiers charged again. Claire swung the sword, Riley followed, and the fight continued with fire, strength, and skill. The hunt had begun in full, and survival would demand everything they could give. Claire and Riley ran through the broken streets. The glow from the sword lit their path. The city was full of smoke and fire. Every step was dangerous. The hunter's soldiers were still following. They moved like shadows, fast and silent. Claire felt the sword pull her forward. It guided her through alleys and over rubble. Riley followed, carrying a heavy piece of metal as a weapon. "We cannot keep running forever," he said. Claire nodded but did not stop. She could feel the hunter close. They reached a half-destroyed building and climbed inside. The walls were cracked and the floor shook under their weight. Claire placed the sword on the ground. It hummed and vibrated. Images flashed in her mind. She saw the hunter commanding soldiers, leading attacks, and never losing. Claire understood why Lex had warned them. Riley leaned against a wall. "We need help," he said. Claire's eyes narrowed. "Then we find it," she replied. They moved to the roof and looked around. Smoke covered the city, but in the distance, a figure appeared. It was Luke, a former soldier. He held a rifle and ran toward them. "You are in trouble," Luke said. "Madeline is hunting you. She will not stop. Her soldiers are trained to kill anyone in their way." Claire held the sword tightly. "We know," she said. "We have to stop her or survive her." Luke nodded. "Good, then we fight smart. She is dangerous, but humans can fight if we use our brains and strength." Riley helped Claire move the sword. It glowed bright. They all felt its power. Suddenly, a group of soldiers appeared on the street below. Claire lifted the sword. It cut through the metal walls of a nearby truck, sending it crashing down on the soldiers. Riley threw debris at another group, and Luke fired carefully. They worked together, fast and precise. Claire felt the sword reacting to each movement. It seemed alive. She swung it again, and a soldier fell back. Riley and Luke pushed forward, keeping enemies away from Claire. The fight was exhausting, but they were clever. They used the environment to their advantage, jumping over rubble, hiding in shadows, and striking quickly. After the fight, the street was silent. Claire looked at the sword. It glowed softly. "It wants more," she said. "It wants me to face Madeline." Riley shook his head. "We are not ready," he said. Claire looked at him. "We have no choice. She is hunting us. We cannot wait." They moved again through the city. The hunter's presence was heavy. Claire could feel it everywhere. Every corner might hide soldiers. Every alley could be a trap. But she kept moving, sword in hand, ready for the next attack. They reached a broken bridge. Smoke rose from the destroyed buildings around them. The hunter's soldiers appeared again. They were faster now, moving from rooftop to rooftop. Claire raised the sword. It glowed strong, giving her courage. The first soldier jumped toward them. Claire swung the sword, cutting his path. Riley and Luke blocked another soldier. The fight was fierce. Every strike mattered. The city echoed with the sounds of battle. Finally, they reached the end of the bridge. Claire felt tired, but stronger. The sword hummed like it approved. She looked at Riley and Luke. "We are ready," she said. "We will face her soon." Riley nodded. "Then we survive and fight." The city around them burned, but they moved forward. The hunter was close. The chase was not over. The hunt continued, and they had to be ready for anything. The sword glowed in Claire's hands. She felt alive and ready. They would not run. They would fight. The hunter was coming, and they would face her with courage, skill, and strength. Claire, Riley, and Luke entered a massive arena. It was a ruined stadium, cracked and broken, with rubble everywhere. Fire burned in parts of the stands. The air was heavy with smoke. Claire held the sword tightly, glowed bright, ready for battle. The hunter appeared at the center. Madeline, the human queen, wore shining armor and a crown. Her soldiers surrounded her, moving silently and ready to attack. Claire felt the sword pulse in her hands. It wanted her to strike first. Riley stepped forward. "We cannot fight all of them at once," he said. Luke nodded. "Then we fight smart. We use the arena to our advantage." Claire looked around. Broken walls, fallen beams, and rubble could be used as weapons. She gripped the sword tighter. They were ready. Madeline raised her hand, and her soldiers moved forward together, fast and precise. Claire swung the sword, cut through metal and stone, sending one soldier flying. Riley threw a heavy beam, hitting another. Luke fired carefully, taking out a third soldier. They worked together like a team. Madeline watched, calm and powerful. She stepped forward and engaged Riley first. He blocked her attacks with his weapon, but felt the force behind each strike. She moved like water, fast and strong, with every hit pushing him back. Claire faced the soldiers near her. She swung the sword with skill. It glowed stronger, striking faster than she expected. The sword seemed alive, protecting her and guiding her moves. Soldiers fell one by one, but more kept coming. Luke jumped from a broken wall, kicking a soldier into the rubble. "Cannot stop," he shouted. Claire nodded. "We fight until she is defeated." Madeline returned to the center, facing Claire directly. Her eyes were cold and unyielding. Claire raised the sword. Madeline's crown reflected the firelight. She swung her own weapon, a heavy blade that clashed with the ancient sword. The force shook the ground. Riley and Luke fought around them, keeping soldiers away. Claire swung the sword again and again, dodging Madeline's strikes. Sparks flew from the metal weapons as they collided. The battle was fierce, but Claire felt the sword guiding her, giving her strength she never had. Madeline's soldiers tried to flank them, but Riley and Luke blocked their paths. The arena echoed with the sound of combat, metal hitting metal, shouts, and the roar of fire. Claire moved quickly, striking down anyone who came close. Her body ached, but she did not stop. Finally, Madeline made a mistake. She overextended her strike. Claire seized the moment and pushed forward with the sword. It struck Madeline's armor with a loud clash. Madeline stumbled back. Riley and Luke surrounded her soldiers, forcing them to retreat. Madeline fell to her knees. Claire held the sword high. The glow from the blade filled the arena. The soldiers paused, unsure what to do. The queen was defeated, and her army scattered, stunned by the skill and strength of Claire and her companions. Claire breathed heavily. Riley and Luke stood beside her. "We did it," Luke said. Claire shook her head. "This is only one fight. The sword showed me its power. There are more challenges ahead." The arena was quiet now, except for the fire. Rubble and smoke filled the air. Claire looked at the sword. It glowed softly, as if approving her victory. Madeline would not return, but the fight had taught them that humans could survive and defeat even the strongest enemies, if they worked together and stayed brave. Claire, Riley, and Luke left the arena, ready for what came next. The city was broken, but they were alive. The sword hummed quietly in Claire's hands. It was a reminder that the hunt was not over, and that their fight had only begun. Claire, Riley, and Luke moved through the ruined city. The arena was behind them, but the fire and smoke still filled the sky. The sword glowed softly in Claire's hands. It felt calm now, as if satisfied with the battle. "We need to keep moving," Riley said. There could be more of her soldiers ahead. Claire nodded. She had learned from the sword that being ready and alert was the only way to survive. Luke scanned the streets. "We are not out of danger yet," he said. "We are stronger now." They reached a high building to rest for a moment. Claire looked out over the city. It was broken, but humans were everywhere, fighting and surviving. She felt hope. The sword pulsed gently in her hand, seemed to agree. Suddenly, a small group of remaining soldiers appeared in the street below. They had not given up. Riley and Luke prepared for the fight. Claire held the sword tightly. She could feel its power ready to protect her. The soldiers charged. Claire swung the sword, cut through metal and concrete, sending them back. Riley threw a piece of debris at another. Luke fired carefully, hitting one soldier. The fight was fast, but they worked together. Every move counted. After the fight, the street was quiet. Claire looked at the sword. It had guided her through every battle. She understood its power was not just in cutting metal. It gave her courage and skill. It made her more than just a human. Riley touched her shoulder. "We survived. We won," he said. Claire shook her head. "We survived this battle, but the fight will not end. The sword will show us what comes next." They moved toward the city center. Buildings were destroyed, and smoke rose from many fires. People ran and shouted. Claire felt the sword pull her forward. It wanted her to protect others, to fight for humans who could not fight themselves. In the center of the city, they saw a group of survivors trapped under rubble. Claire ran forward. She used the sword to lift heavy beams. Riley and Luke helped. Together, they freed the people. The sword glowed bright, guiding her hands. The survivors looked at Claire and the sword with awe. "Who are you?" one asked. Claire smiled. "We are humans who fight. We will not let anyone destroy what we have." Riley and Luke nodded. They'd seen Claire grow stronger with each fight. The sword had chosen her, but she had chosen to use its power for protection and survival. Then, in the distance, they saw a figure approaching. It was not Madeline, but a new threat. Claire tightened her grip on the sword. "We will face it," she said. "We always do." The sword glowed stronger. It hummed in her hands. Claire felt ready. She had learned to fight, to lead, and to protect. Humans could be strong, brave, and unstoppable when they worked together. The sword had shown her the way, but she had made the choice to rise. They walked forward together. Riley on one side, Luke on the other, Claire in the center holding the sword. The city was broken, but the people were alive. Humans had proven that they could face any enemy, fight with skill and courage, and survive against impossible odds. Lex's last words echoed in Claire's mind. "Now she hunts you." But Claire had changed the meaning. Now she fought. Now she protected. Now she would rise as a warrior for humans. The sword glowed softly, and Claire understood. This was only the beginning. The hunt would continue, but humans would always rise to face it. The city might be in ruins, but Claire, Riley, and Luke walked forward, ready for whatever came next. The sword in Claire's hand was a symbol of strength, courage, and survival. Humans would never give up.